So I want to talk about body positivity and how this affects you about feeling good, and also how it influences you in achieving your goals, because it does sort of run into a almost contradictory state. Now, many issues of this are almost just common sense. Now, a lot of people say to me, Ben, I love the way you talk common sense. Advice is common sense, but there's a real problem. Applying common sense is not easy at all. And this is why it's so powerful to work with a coach, because it's often not about learning. It's about applying what you know, maybe forgetting something that you know, and that allows you to go on to get results. And in this area, as far as how you feel about your body, it's hugely important to have some sort of structure around you if you struggle with body image issues. So to those who don't know, the area of body positivity, it's a movement that gained, huge, especially recent years, attention, popularity. The general idea and the concept behind it is to appreciate who you are. It's to what many people is a revolutionary approach, that they don't have to hate how they are. We shouldn't judge people on their bodies. There isn't any one good type of body, one bad type. It's just different ranges of body shape. Now, it's a controversial field because it runs into the goals people, the goal setting type people who say you need to be this shape. More specifically, obviously in the medical community, which have done lots of research on BMI, weight versus height, and the health consequences that come from it. But below that sort of, I think it's almost a pointless argument, because it doesn't need to be either or. There is the fundamental question is, how should we feel about an area of our life that we haven't achieved our goals? So, if I haven't got the money I want to have in life, do I have to beat myself up and think I'm a failure? It's the same with my body. If I haven't got the shape that I want, do I have to hate myself for not being there? And for me, I don't think it needs to be a debate, because I don't think it's necessary. It's like, you don't have to hate where you are to want to go forwards. Do you have to hate where you live to move house? Do you have to hate your job to go on to a new job? No, you can enjoy your job and want to move to a new one. You can like where you live and go on holiday. You don't have to hate everything that's going on to want to improve things in life. Now, an important area, I'll come up a bit more about this goal clash in a second, but an important area to understand any conversation on body positivity and body image is, what do you say to what do you feel? And this is a huge area, because a lot of people say something, but they don't believe it at a subconscious level. In that, you don't feel what you're saying. So an example is, I'm all for body positivity. All bodies are beautiful, but then you won't wear that dress out. You wouldn't take your top off in the park if you're a guy, more thing, or you wouldn't show your body. You don't feel confident enough to go out. You don't feel confident enough to have sex. They're signs that, how you feel about your body and what you believe that means is not the same as what you're saying, because it's how you act. And I think this is a big problem. This is why right at the start I said common sense isn't always applicable. I know, and I do, and I feel they're not the same thing. So it's really important, all this conversation is to understand, where do you fit in this scale? So it's a problem, because if you don't feel what you mean, then we need to do work to get you to be aligned in that sense. Now, when I talk about body positivity and goals, I think it's just important to think about what is the best for you as a person, because a lot of these debates run into now versus the future, and this comes up in lots of different areas. So, I like going shopping. Well, if I spent all my money today, is that good or bad? Well, it's great for me today. I've had good fun. But obviously in the real world, there comes a tomorrow, and it goes on in that sort of sense. So, should I spend all my money today in the shops? Probably not. Does that mean I have to never go shopping ever again? Well, that sounds a bit too extreme. And this same sort of thing comes up in the body image debate. So I think it's about asking yourself what is best for you, because then that solves a lot of these debates of how to address these things. Because, how to explain? If you just go down the goal setting route, it's all about making things happen. It's where a lot of the advice of the fitness professionals come from. Don't eat this, go strict, eat clean, all that stuff that's basically just an ass. But the far side of body positivity, where the controversy comes, is that everything's fine, everything's good shape. You don't need to change any body shape. Then obviously the movements try to question the evidence behind being overweight is unhealthy. And it's absolutely unequivocal. I've read a lot of books on body positivity. When they go into the statistics, it's very hard to justify being obese, severely obese, impossible. Being overweight, hard to justify with the statistics, it's almost impossible. So, but slightly overweight to normal weight, there's a bit of an argument there. There is no difference between being normal weight and being underweight, or underweight becomes unhealthy, but being leaner. So basically, if you're in a normal BMI range medically, there's no point getting 2 kilos leaner to have a tight waist or a six pack. It makes no difference on a health front. It's purely your choice. But the whole thing about bodies is your choice. This is how I've always been with myself. When I work with people, they always assume, because I think it's one of the most personal trainers, that people are very anti-fat. And I'm like, I don't care. You make the choice for me. It's even in the same in the obviously a lot of the fat shamers are saying you need to be you're overweight, you're promoting whatever. But for me, it's not the same. If we were that worried about everyone's health, why do we let people drink? Why do we let people smoke? It's not about that. You do have a free choice. So if you want to, be a certain way, you can. But then to deny reality, how many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of millions of, people have been involved in studies showing consequences. It's not by mistake. So this is where some of the more aggressive arguments around this area comes, and it can also catch you out. Should I change? Well, I don't want to change. Why should I change? It can get into those debates. So the way I look at it is there's a scale. It's a bit like a weighing scale where you've got positives here, you've got positives here, and so forth. And there's two main movements at hand. But if you go too far in any one way, I think as far as best for you goes, you won't be doing your best. It'll be hindering you in some way. So on one side, you've got the pure old school goal-centered approach, which comes in, you need to hate yourself where you are. It's the only way to motivate myself. If I hate myself, I need to be focused on my goals. I need to go all at it. I need to be, hardcore, no bad foods, none of this. It's the old school approach. No one feels good on doing that. And you sacrifice your whole life to feel good for 2 minutes. And even as you make improvements, you keep moving the bar. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm in my goal close now. But now, no, I got to move it more because that girl's in better shape. It's the goal-centered approach. Again, this is about balance. If you go too far in that side, it's going to make life worse for you. You'll always hate yourself. You'll never feel good about yourself. Problems. Now, the other side is the body positivity approach, which can also go too far in itself. So, the end extreme is everything's perfect. I don't need to change anything. Well, that's fine, but you live in a real world. There are consequences, and medicine shows this. There will be consequences. And it really links into what I said about the subconscious. If you say it but don't believe it, you'll be miserable. So it's about then saying, well, okay, on this side, let's accept who I am. But it can also lead to inactivity because you don't have a driving goal. Goals are helpful because they focus your efforts and make things happen. But if you hate yourself and the process while you're doing it, that's not good. Accepting where you are is great too. But again, it leads to a lower level of overall performance. Now, there's an implication behind body positivity, which is why it links into intuitive eating, that when you feel great about yourself, you'll move naturally for fun, you'll eat healthily. Well, that does not happen in, who knows what percentage it is, but we all know that will not guaranteely happen. What if I just sit around eating food all day, getting more obese, got no exercise fitness, my knees hurt when I move? We're talking about what's the best for you. That's, again, not great for yourself. So for me, it's about trying to get the balance on these two things, becoming aware of the different areas, and then seeing how you are if you're going too far down one thing. So if you are literally trying to eat 100% clean, and if you have a bit of cake, you feel guilty, you're too far over here. You've gone full on goals. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to feel great. But if you've gone the other way and you're just eating cake all day long, that's not going to make you feel great. It sucks your energy. It upsets metabolism. If you then have lower energy, you're less likely to move. Well, making you move feels good if you know what you're doing. Again, you've gone too far that side. And it's about balancing these two things. And it's an important area. So when I start talking body image, so where this stuff all comes from is I've created a great workbook document for working with people who have got body image issues, because, it's 1 in every 2 clients. It's 2 in every 3 clients, whatever. It's a big part of how I'm working with people, because, I'm helping people change their body, but I'm helping people to feel good. You can change somebody's body a lot and they still feel shit. That's not good. What you want to do is then feel good and then move things forwards and feel amazing when they get there. So my focus is, if you read my book, it's about accepting and enjoying where you are now, but also being inspired to go forwards. And they're two big things. What do I need to do to accept how I am and be okay with where I am? And then what do I need to do to inspire myself to say, look, life's great as it is. I'm fine with other people being exactly how I am, but I'm excited to go forward. That's a good place to be. You can't just think it. This is the problem, because if it's really ingrained in your subconscious, it's come from your childhood, from parents telling you time and time again, from you reinforcing the beliefs. It's a good start to say, I want to believe and feel this way. It's unlikely to happen unless you put in the work. So I've got, like I said, this program now for people to use, to follow, so that they can actually do the groundwork to begin to change their habits and underlying subconscious factors, so that you actually feel good now, okay with where you're at, and inspired to go forward. And then you've got that balance between the two areas. And obviously it's about then avoiding getting sucked back into any one of those different twos, into those different sides. So that's body image and so forth. If you are somebody who has issue with body image issues, if you're interested in doing my program, I'm looking for a few people just to go through it, as I've just brought it all together nicely into a structure. Then just message me, DM me, and we can sort that out. Otherwise, understand it's an area that may need to be looked into, especially when it comes to feeling good. It's not everything's about just changing the outside. It's also about changing the inside, and very often you need to do some work that's got nothing to do with actually eating or exercising to make that happen.